It's 86 degrees right now. Wow. And by the way, the whole panhandle has heat advisories today from Pensacola all the way into Tallahassee and further east. So Panama City is already 86 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy. High of 91. Low tide is at 131. This is so slow. Cedar Key is 85 degrees. Lucky them, partly cloudy with a high of only 89. Low tide will be at 1244. Hernando Beach is 84 degrees, high of 90, partly cloudy. Low tide will be at 142. In Hudson, it's 86 degrees, high of only 89, so partly cloudy. And like I said, high of only 89. Low tide is at 1142. Port Richey is at 84 degrees, high today of 90, partly cloudy. Low tide at 1242. In Clearwater, it's 85 degrees, high today at 90, partly cloudy. Also, low tide 1028. Safety Harbor in Old Tampa Bay, it's 81 degrees with a high of 91 degrees. It's going to be partly cloudy with a high tide coming up at 720. Let's see if I can get a couple more in for you. Port Manatee, it's 85 degrees, partly cloudy with a high of 93. Low tide is at 12:25 p.m. In Sarasota, it's 82 degrees, clear with a high of 92. Low tide will be at 12:14. And for Pensacola, or rather Fort Myers, it's 81 degrees and sunny, high of 96. High tide will be at 7:50. It's 6:31. Back to some more Florida stuff. See what's interesting today. Classes start today. Tallahassee State College, FAMU, and FSU students will begin semesters next week. College life is ramping up in Tallahassee as Tallahassee State College begins fall classes, and FSU and FAMU students return ahead of next week's semester start. Enrollment at TSC has climbed to 13,000, with new degree programs and a high-tech innovation hub giving local students more options and hands-on learning opportunities. Tab here. I got to clear out that weather and tides because there's videos on it that slow down. And I've got 8 of those open. It slows down the system something fierce. Let's see, Orlando. It's actually in Tampa. Listen to this one. Where was that? Hold on. That? Oh my God, I got to get that story. Come on. Don't tease me like that. Live grenade. How do 10-year-olds get a suspected overdose of fentanyl? Live grenade closes police station. Now, where the hell is that story? Woman charged with murder after fatal over. We talked about that. Hillsborough County teacher. We talked about that. 55 turtle hatchlings found dead on Anna Maria Island. Oh, here we go. I've got to read this one. A live hand grenade was brought to a Florida police station by a person who found it while helping a family member clean out their belongings. This, of course, happened in Lakeland. A well-meaning citizen brought a live hand grenade to a Lakeland police department on Sunday after finding the device while helping clean out a family member's belongings. The resident brought the device in a box to the police station on Massachusetts Avenue, believing it was an old hand grenade. The incident prompted the temporary closure of the police station and road detours while a Tampa Police Department bomb squad investigated and safely removed the grenade. The bomb squad determined the item was a live hand grenade, possibly dating to a Korean War era. Police said the resident had good intentions in bringing the item to the station, but warned the public not to handle or transport suspicious devices. Hello? If anyone finds a suspicious device, call the police immediately rather than handle it. Police said. Contact your local law enforcement agency and let them come to you to assess the situation. Hello? I mean, good Lord. This is not that hard. Wow. Oh. 55 sea turtles found dead on Anna Maria Island. Officials say that lights drew dozens of loggerhead hatchlings away from the Gulf and onto a road. Dozens of loggerhead sea turtles were found dead on Anna Maria Island after officials say artificial lighting apparently drew them away from the Gulf of Mexico. In a post on social media, Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch and Shoreboard Monitoring said 55 hatchlings emerged from a nest on Wednesday night, but became disoriented. Rather than following natural light reflecting off the water, officials said the turtles crawled toward artificial lights from nearby homes and businesses, ending up on Gulf Drive. I've never seen that many hatchlings dead in a road, all in 28 years of working. Kristen Mazzarella, executive director of Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch, told WFLA. It was really heartbreaking. The deaths come during sea turtle nesting season when beachfront lighting can pose a particular danger to newly hatched turtles trying to reach the water. With other nests still waiting to hatch along the island's beaches, Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch is asking the public to help prevent another mass disorientation. The organization urged residences, businesses, and visitors to check whether lights on their properties are visible from the beach, turn off unnecessary lights at night, and keep blinds closed. Any kind of lights on trees and things like that are in the other end of the spectrum. That is not red or amber, is not great for sea turtles. Anyone who finds a wayward hatchling, dead or alive, is asked to contact Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch's 24-hour hotline. That number, 941-310. Sorry, the dyslexia is kicking in. 941-301-8434. 941-301-8434. Yeah, it is disappointing. We talked yesterday about a Hillsborough teacher accused of sending inappropriate messages to a former student. facing charges of sexual abuse material and communication charges. We also talked about Katrina Brodus, who supplied fentanyl to a 36-year-old woman that was found dead in Lithia, being charged with murder. A cheeseburger slider chain. This looks good. Backed by Super Bowl champ, opens in Tampa area. Fast food chain known for its cheeseburger sliders and backed by former NFL player Drew Brees, opened a Tampa area location. Fast food restaurant backed by Super Bowl champion Drew Brees has opened in Lutz, bringing its signature cheeseburger sliders, waffle fries, and shakes to the area. Smalls Sliders opened its newest location at 19081 Wing Shooter Way, next to Swig, on August 11th, and hosted a grand opening celebration on Saturday. The Lutz location is owned by and operated by Purple Buns LLC, according to the news release. The company, which also operates Small Sliders location in Clearwater, has committed to opening at least 9 locations throughout Florida. We're excited to continue growing the Small Sliders brand in the Tampa Bay area with an opening of our Lutz Can. Okay. That according to Vic Patel, CEO of Purple Buns. Lutz is a vibrant, growing community, and we look forward to serving our guests and becoming a neighborhood destination. That address again is 19081 Wing Shooter Way in Lutz. Oh. Traffic again. Sorry. Got going into the news, man. It took me away. All right. Still Panhandle looking good. Weather advisories, but that's all in the Panhandle. Otherwise, 10, 98, good and green. Something's starting to pop up in Jacksonville. Congestion in Duval County on I-295 East North. That's down in the 5 o'clock position in the outer loop. That's by US 1 and Phillips Highway. Also, congestion in Duval County on I-95 North at the ramp to 8th Street. That's on the north side of Jacksonville, heading outbound. Moving down the coast, 95 looks good. All the way down till we hit an object in the roadway on I-95 South before State Route 76 and Canner Highway. The 2 left lanes are blocked. I don't know what's going on with the voice today. Maybe I'm constantly using it. Orlando is a mess already. Traffic lights working incorrectly in Osceola County on US 192 Vine Street and Bronson Highway East at Florida Avenue. Also at Narcosi Road North and Tompkins Drive. There's a crash in Orange County on State Route 417 North before mile marker 14.4. Left shoulder blocked. Good Lord, Orlando. Disabled vehicle in Orange County on State Route 528 East before mile marker 20. That's off on the shoulder. Another one in Orange County on State Route 417 North before mile marker 35. Road Ranger is on scene there. Not on the shoulder yet. Be careful going through that. Disabled vehicle on I-4 east before mile marker 79 and State Route 423. That's off on the shoulder. Yeah, more congestion, and that's the traffic lights. More traffic lights working incorrectly on Osceola Parkway East at International Drive. Sounds like a system outage. Disabled vehicle on I-4 West before mile marker 63. It's off on the shoulder. Coming down 4, the usual slowing after Lakeland on the westbound. As you head into Tampa, again in Plant City, Dover, by interchange with 75. And of course, again at 275. Crossing the bridges are okay. Don't forget that on I-275, crossing Old Tampa Bay, tolling begins on the 22nd. 60, they'll be paving on the east end, closer to Town and Country. And 92's looking green. St. Pete's looking green. Clearwater's good. Coming across the opening to Tampa Bay, 275. The Skyway Bridge looks good. 75 back up into Tampa looks good. The usual slowing at Big Bend Road. Is it? Yeah, Big Bend Road. Yep. On the northbound 270, or excuse me, northbound 75 side. And in Bradenton, traffic congestion in Manatee County on US 41 South from beyond Haben Boulevard to Manatee Avenue and State Route 64. That's just getting over the Manatee River. It's on 41. Coming south through Sarasota into Punta Gorda, everything looks good. To Fort Myers, some congestion on 82 crossing the river in Fort Myers. It's on the eastbound lane. $75, $41, $80, $70, all look good crossing the state. Disabled vehicle in Miami-Dade County on State Route 826 North before Northwest 25th Street. PBA Memorial Boulevard, the right lane is blocked. Traffic congestion on State Route 826 South from I-75 to State Route 932 Northwest 103rd Street. That's as of 640. Boca and West Palm look good. There's an object in the roadway on I-95 South before State Route 76 and Canner Highway. The two left lanes are blocked. We talked about that before, too. All right, that's traffic. Woohoo. Not quite on schedule, but I'm doing all right. Plenty of Florida news to talk about. Coming up on 6:49, so that's time for some ad spots. We'll be back with some national news right after this.
Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching, Chapter 1 written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors in conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and mastiff.media.
Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative or progressive talk, 24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community, or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
Israel is pointing to a divide with the U.S. over what comes next in Gaza.
After a meeting between Jared Kushner and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli government says the U.S. believes Hamas will disarm, but Israel said deep down we don't.
I'm Michelle Martin. That's Sasha Pfeiffer, and this is Up First from NPR News. America doesn't have an aircraft carrier in the Pacific, and President Trump is pulling back from military cooperation with South Korea. How is the war with Iran affecting the U.S.'s strategic posture toward Asia?
And it's primary day in Alaska, Florida, and Wyoming. Alaska's Senate race could tip the balance of the whole chamber, and it's drawing money from thousands of miles away. Stay with us. We'll give you the news you need to start your day.
This message comes from Dell Technologies. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core, now from $699, with exclusive student pricing from $599. Visit Dell.com/deals.
This message comes from Progressive Insurance. Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Support for this NPR podcast and the following message come from Carvana. Selling your car? Carvana has offers so good, they're almost inexplicable. Sell your car 100% online in minutes. Visit Carvana.com today.
Jared Kushner said he's optimistic about the U.S. plan for Gaza.
President Trump's envoy and son-in-law was in Israel Monday, meeting a pessimistic Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Kushner spoke to Fox News.
Progress could come quite soon, but we do need cooperation from both sides, and we're going to hopefully get through it. But we've made a lot of progress to get here.
Kushner was in Israel after a rare meeting with Hamas leaders in Egypt.
NPR's Daniel Estrin is on the line from Tel Aviv. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Sasha.
So what did Kushner say about his back-to-back meetings with Hamas leaders and Netanyahu?
Well, he started in Egypt with Hamas leaders, and he said that meeting was cordial. He said it's, quote, hard to trust a terrorist organization that committed what he called terrible atrocities, but he said the Hamas officials said all the right things. Then Kushner went to Israel and met Netanyahu. He said the meeting lasted nearly 4 hours. They pored over the details of a new U.S.-backed roadmap for how to move forward in Gaza. Netanyahu initially rejected that roadmap for Israeli withdrawal from Gaza alongside Hamas disarmament. But Kushner said he sat with Netanyahu and his team and talked through what he called misunderstandings and misinformation about the plan.
So they have differed in their approach in the past. What do we know about whether they're on the same page now when it comes to Gaza?
Kushner's team announced some new agreements together with Israel, and these agreements are different than the original plan for Gaza. One announcement is that Hamas is being asked to give up their weapons and hand them over to a U.S. general to be destroyed, not the original plan to give them over to a new Palestinian committee for storage. And then there's another announcement that there would be no Israeli withdrawal from Gaza or no reconstruction of Gaza until full disarmament of Hamas. Kushner told Fox News that he wants Hamas to start disarming within 30, 60, or 90 days. And if they don't, he made this veiled threat about war.
If they don't follow through now on their commitment, everyone will see that they're not genuine about peace, and then Israel will have a lot more support from the U.S. and others to go and finish the job in the appropriate way.
So you hear Kushner there trying to show this united, strong front with Israel. The Israeli government put out two differing messages. They put out 3 lines in English for an international audience talking about deep and constructive discussions with Kushner. They put out another message in Hebrew attributed to an anonymous Israeli official, and they emphasized the disagreements. This message said, deep down, we, Israel, don't believe Hamas will disarm, and the Americans do. They also put out another message saying Israel intends to keep killing people in Gaza who took part in the October 7th attack, and that message said Kushner opposes that.
So giving what seems like some mixed messaging depending on the audience, what's likely to happen next in Gaza?
Well, there was one announcement that came out that Israel is going to agree to sanitation projects in Gaza for public health. So perhaps that could be a way for Israel to justify if we see any bulldozers or heavy equipment entering Gaza to start clearing away rubble from the last few years of war there. I think real progress is hard to expect in the next 10 weeks before Israeli elections take place. We are likely to keep seeing what we've been seeing, Hamas and Israel going in circles with mediators and slow walking any real steps for Gaza.
That is NPR's Daniel Estrin in Tel Aviv. Thanks, Daniel.
You're welcome.
The U.S. and Iran have blown past a deadline this week to start peace talks.
The conflict, which has gone on for months, has sent gas prices soaring in the U.S., and now military resources like warships and interceptor missiles are running short. That has hurt the U.S. military capabilities in other regions, notably in Asia.
And we have NPR's Emily Feng with us to explain why. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning to the both of you.
So we heard this week that Trump said the U.S. would reduce joint military exercises with South Korea. He said that within hours of those exercises actually beginning. Is this related to the Iran war?
According to Trump, yes. He spoke to reporters yesterday and said he had unsuccessfully asked South Korea's president to help the U.S. with its war against Iran.
And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran?
As you mentioned, these drills have already kicked off. These exercises go back at least until 1976, and they were designed to largely counter North Korea and its nuclear program. And I spoke to Hal Brands, a global affairs professor at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies. He says North Korea is actually a bigger threat in Trump's second term than in his first.
The nuclear program has expanded over the past decade, and the missile arsenal has become larger and more sophisticated. You can add to that the fact that North Korea is now getting increasingly advanced technological help from Russia.
But Trump has been upset with Seoul from even his first term for not paying the U.S. more for the security assistance it provides to South Korea.
Emily, speaking of security, correct me if I'm wrong, but is this one of the few times there will be no U.S. aircraft carriers in the Pacific region?
Right. And when I went back into this, I found that you can count on one hand the number of times there has not been a U.S. carrier group in the Pacific since the 1970s. Now, the USS George Washington, a carrier, was in the Pacific, but it's been sent to relieve the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is already in the Middle East and has had its deployment extended. Like the Washington, it was also in the Pacific when it was diverted to the Middle East. I've been speaking to naval experts about this, and they say it could be weeks, if not months, until a replacement carrier formation is ready and arrives in the Pacific to replace the Washington. One of these experts is Mike Dahm. He's a former naval intelligence officer with the Mitchell Institute, which is an aerospace research group.
Aircraft carriers move, and they move quickly, but they have to be ready to go. The question really is who's ready to go, who's not in the maintenance period, whose air wing is qualified to get underway and go on a long deployment.
And while they have not been as publicly concerned as Ukraine, countries in Asia are noticing, and they're also really worried about the depletion of American interceptor missiles.
Yes, we've been doing a lot of reporting on that. And give us a sense of just how depleted is the missile stockpile?
They're very depleted. One think tank, the Center for Strategic and International Studies here in Washington, found U.S. interceptor stockpiles shrunk by about 2/3 during the Iran war. And then even before the Iran war, the think tank, the Heritage Foundation, determined this month that the U.S. already only had a fraction of the interceptors it needed to push back, say, against a potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan.
That is NPR's Emily Feng. Emily, thank you.
Thanks, Sasha.
The primary schedule leading us to November is winding down, but there are 3 more states holding nominating contests today: Alaska, Florida, and Wyoming.
The race for a U.S. Senate seat in Alaska is drawing a lot of money from thousands of miles away from the lower 48, as they say. That's because it's one of the seats that could determine which party controls the U.S. Senate after the midterms.
Joining us now is Alaska public media correspondent Liz Ruskin. Hi, Liz.
Hello.
Liz, this Alaska U.S. Senate race is considered a toss-up. It's a nonpartisan race. That means the top 4 candidates of any party are going ahead to November. Who's running in this one?
So the 2 big candidates are the incumbent Republican, Dan Sullivan, and his main challenger is Democrat Mary Peltola. She's a former House member, first Alaska Native person elected to Congress. There's a wild card in this. We've got a second Dan Sullivan.
2 Dan Sullivans.
Yeah, his full name is Daniel J. Sullivan Jr. He's a retired teacher from Petersburg, Alaska. Republicans tried to keep him off the ballot, saying this was a trick. But Sullivan, the challenger, says he's just tired of a guy with his same name providing representation that he doesn't like, and he wants to provide an alternative. He is on the ballot with no party affiliation.
Liz, you have also been reporting on how much money is being poured into this key race. Sounds like quite a lot. What stands out to you?
There are millions going to the major candidates, of course. And the weird thing, when I look at the FEC filings, I found another $3 million combined coming from pop-up super PACs to elevate very minor candidates who are running $0 campaigns of their own.
And what does your reporting tell you about what's the strategy behind that?
Well, I reached out to these super PACs, didn't get concrete answers, but political experts here say these operations are aimed at trying to pick the 3rd and 4th place candidates who will advance to the November ballot. The idea is to draw votes away from one of the major candidates.
And how effective would that be, that drawing away vote strategy?
Well, not very. It only works for the minority of voters who choose not to rank their ballots. Political consultant Jim Lotsfield tells me it's a sign there's so much money in this race, it can't all be spent on things that make sense.
Liz, we mentioned that in addition to Alaska, there are also primaries today in Florida and Wyoming. I want to ask you a Florida question, moving way down far south. Tell us about the races to watch there.
Well, Florida, like Alaska, has no incumbent governor running. Ron DeSantis is at his term limit. Congressman Byron Donalds looks favored to win the Republican nomination and will likely face Democrat David Jolly. He's a former congressman and a former Republican. Another race my NPR network colleagues in Florida are watching is where Republican Congressman Corey Mills is trying to get reelected. He's under investigation by the House Ethics Committee. He denies allegations he assaulted a woman last year in D.C. Trump endorsed him earlier this year, but he faces Republican challengers.
That is Alaska Public Media's Liz Ruskin in Anchorage. Liz, we look forward to talking with you again and hearing the results of the primary in Alaska today. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And that's Up First for Tuesday, August 18th. I'm Sasha Pfeiffer.
And I'm Michelle Martin. Today's episode of Up First was edited by Tina Cryer, Rebecca Metzler, Padma Rama, Mohammed El-Bardisi, and Alice Wolfley. It was produced by Ziad Butch and Ben Abrams. Our director is Christopher Thomas. We get engineering support from Nisha Highness, and our technical director is Eowyn Fain. Our supervising senior producer is Vince Pearson. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Disney. What does it take to build a world people never want to leave? Hear from James Cameron, Jon Favreau, Kevin Feige, and more in director Leslie Iwerks' Disney World Builders, coming to Disney Plus on August 20th.
This message comes from Thumbtack. Some tasks can feel easy, but home projects can bring second guesses. Is that noise normal? Is that water damage? Who should be called? That's where Thumbtack comes in. Just upload a photo or voice note, and it uses AI-powered search to match with the right top-rated local pro. So instead of guessing, there's clarity and confidence when hiring. For your next home project, try Thumbtack. Hire the right pro today. Want to hear this podcast without sponsor breaks? Amazon Prime members can listen to Up First sponsor-free through Amazon Music. Or you can also support NPR's vital journalism and get NPR Plus at plus.npr.org. That's plus.npr.org.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive may...
There we go. Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching. Chapter 1 written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors. In conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and mastiff.media.
Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative, or progressive talk,
24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community, or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
All right, almost 7:11. Time for more Florida news. There we go. Get the time up where you can see it. Okay, Florida Attorney General rewrites property tax amendment. We talked about that the other day, too. Florida's Attorney General rewrote the ballot language for a proposed property tax amendment after a judge found the wording misleading. Really? The original one is what he found misleading? The measure would increase homestead exemptions beginning in 2027 if approved by at least 60% of voters in November. Under a judge's order, Florida Attorney General has rewritten a proposed property tax amendment that will appear in voters' ballots in November. Earlier this month, Tallahassee Judge David Frank ruled that the ballot language for the property tax proposal passed by the legislature was misleading and that parts were more akin to a political slogan. Frank ordered Florida Attorney General James Olthmeyer to rewrite several parts of the amendment, including the title, Save Our Homes from Excessive Property Taxes, which is what the bill and the amendment is doing. Olthmeyer's office shared the revised language with the Miami Herald, Tampa Bay Times on Thursday. The new title for the amendment is Increased Homestead Exemption, lower cap on increases in non-homestead property assessments. Raise your hand if you know what that means. Put your hand down, dog. Olthmeyer's office shared the revised language on Thursday. If approved by at least 60% of Florida voters, the property tax amendment would raise the homestead exemption to $150,000 for most Florida property owners in 2027 and up to $250,000 in 2028. The exemption would also increase with inflation. Plaintiffs filed a lawsuit in June asking the amendment summary on the ballot to be rewritten. State law and courts' previous rulings have required constitutional amendments to use neutral, clear language. The group and former lawmakers challenging the amendment's wording did not ask for the judge to strike the proposal from the ballot. The rewritten amendment is drier than the prior amendment, which had included summary subheadings that said things like protecting small businesses and ensuring fairness for Florida residents. Well, is that what it's doing? The new amendment largely uses language suggested by Judge Frank in his order. That includes a section summarizing the plan to have new Florida residents who move after 2026 wait 5 years before benefiting from the higher homestead exemption. One of the plaintiffs, former St. Petersburg Senator Jeff Brands, has said that the plan could be unconstitutional. Aren't we changing the Constitution? Wouldn't that make it constitutional? Altmaier's rewrite, mirroring Frank's proposal, would say people who are not Florida residents by December 31st, 2025 will get the higher homestead exemption on the fifth year to the extent permitted by the U.S. Constitution. Altmaier's office also removed the language telling voters that the amendment would lead to the full elimination of property taxes. Frank said the actual text of the amendment did not guarantee that. Well, it does talk about school board taxes. So there's that. Instead, the amendment now says the plan would require the legislature to create a procedure for local governments to increase the homestead exemption up to full assessment value and allow special districts under referendum to do the same. Governor Ron DeSantis' office authored the initial property tax proposal, but lawmakers amended the language to protect school property taxes. DeSantis has since said he will not campaign for the amendment, but said he will vote for it. Why would you not campaign something that you... I'm so glad he's gone. If the plaintiffs who sued to change the ballot language have any objection to Altmaier's rewrite, they must file a challenge within 10 days. Are you going to miss him? We've got a phone line. It's not set up yet. In fact, I've got to schedule some time with my consultant to teach me some things about it. But write this number down. The area code is 941. The rest of it's pretty easy to remember. 941 69 YERGZ. 941 69 YERGZ. Get ready, because we are going to discuss this between now and November. I keep looking at my clock wheel to make sure I'm kind of sort of on. No, there was another story I had. There we go. Classes start this week. Tallahassee State College, FAMU, and FSU students will begin next week. College life is ramping back up in Tallahassee as Tallahassee State College begins fall classes. FSU and FAMU start next week. Enrollment at TSC has climbed to 13,000 with new degree programs and a high-tech innovation hub, giving local students more options and hands-on learning opportunities. Here we go. A well-meaning citizen brought a live hand grenade to Lakeland Police Department on Sunday after finding the device while helping to clean out a family member's belongings. The resident brought the device in a box to the police station on Massachusetts Avenue, believing it was, quote, an old hand grenade. You think? The incident prompted the temporary closure of the police department and road detours while the Tampa Police Department bomb squad investigated and safely removed the grenade. The bomb squad determined the item was a live hand grenade, possibly dating to the Korean War. Police said the resident had good intentions, just not a good brain. Bringing the item to the station, but warned the public not to handle or transport suspicious devices just in case you're just as stupid as the resident was. If anyone finds a suspicious device, call the police immediately rather than handle it. You know, statements like that have to be made because of stories like this. Contact your local law enforcement agency and let them come to you and assess the situation. Just in case you're not laughing at this story and need to actually hear that. Oh. Fast food restaurant backed by Super Bowl champion Drew Brees has opened in Lutz, bringing its signature cheeseburger sliders, waffle fries, and shakes to the area. Smalls Sliders. You're killing me, Smalls. Small Sliders opened its newest location at 19081. How do you say that? I'm not used to these 5-digit addresses. Like, I have one that can be separated. It doesn't have the O. I think the O kind of splits it up. 19,000 block of Wing Shooter Way, next to the Swig. I don't even know what that is. I'm here 5 years. I still don't know these stores. Opened on August 11th and hosted a grand open celebration this past Saturday. The Lutz location is owned and operated by Purple Buns LLC. Is that like a gay rear end? Purple or rainbow buns? Or maybe purple meaning that it's an independent voter, not right or left. The company, which also operates Small Sliders location in Clearwater, has committed to opening at least 9 locations throughout Florida. We are excited to continue growing the Small Sliders brand in the Tampa Bay area with the opening of our Lutz Can. I don't know what a can is. Is that like short for cantina? That according to Vic Patel, CEO of Purple Buns. Lutz is a vibrant, growing community, and we look forward to serving our guests and becoming a neighborhood destination. 55 sea turtles were found dead on Anna Maria Island. Dozens of these loggerhead sea turtle hatchlings were found dead on Anna Maria Island after officials said artificial lighting apparently drew them away from the Gulf of Mexico. In a post on social media, Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch and Shorebird Monitoring said 55 hatchlings emerged from a nest on Wednesday, but became disoriented. Rather than following natural light reflecting off the water, officials said the turtles crawled toward artificial lights from nearby homes and businesses, ending up on Gulf Drive. I have never seen that many hatchlings dead in the road in all of 28 years of working, according to Kristen Mazzarella, executive director of the Turtle Watch. It was really heartbreaking. The deaths come during sea turtle nesting season, when beachfront lighting can pose a particular danger to newly hatched turtles trying to reach the water. With other nests still waiting to hatch along the island's beaches, Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch is asking the public to help prevent another mass disorientation. The organization urged residents, businesses, and visitors to check whether lights on their properties are visible from the beach, turn off necessary lights, and keep blinds closed. So check whether your property is visible from the beach, turn off unnecessary lights, and keep blinds closed. Any kind of lights on trees and things like that that are in the other end of the spectrum that is not red or amber is not great for sea turtles. Let's just turn the lights off. Not worry about the color. Anyone who finds a wayward hatchling, dead or alive, is asked to contact Anna Maria Island Turtle Watch's 24-hour hotline. 941, just like the Yerg's number, 941 301 8434. 24-hour number is 941 301 8434. And where we at? 24. Yep. All right. Got to do a break when we come back. Weather and tides after this.
Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching, Chapter 1 written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors. In conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and Mastiff.media. Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out Mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative or progressive talk, 24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community, or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media.
What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
All right, gang. Back to the weather and tides in Pensacola. It is. Hold on. There we go. In Pensacola, it's 83 degrees, partly cloudy, high today at 94. Remember, there's a heat advisory for the entire panhandle, all the way over to at least Tallahassee. 83 degrees, mostly cloudy, partly cloudy. It's cloudy. High of 94, low tide at 2:31 p.m. Where's my cursor? There we go. For Panama City, it's 86 degrees, same, high of 92. Watch out for the heat index. Low tide at 1:31 p.m. For Cedar Key, it's 85 degrees, cloudy, high of 89. low tide at 12:44. For Hernando Beach, 84 degrees, high of 90 degrees, low tide at 1:42. For Hernando, I just did Hernando, my bad. Hold on. I'm trying to get these into the notes, but I'm just too busy today. Hudson Beach and In on the Gulf. Love that place. It's 87 degrees and cloudy, high of 90 degrees. Low tide will be at 11:42 a.m. For the Richies, measured at Newport Richie, it's 84 degrees, cloudy, high of 90, low tide at 12:42 this afternoon. For Clearwater Beach, it's 85 degrees and cloudy, high of 90 degrees, low tide at 10:28 this morning. For Safety Harbor, 83 degrees. It's cloudy, high of 91 for the day. Low tide at 2:54 this afternoon. In Port Manatee, it's 86 degrees, high of 93 for the day and cloudy. Low tide is at 12:25. Sarasota, it's 82 degrees and cloudy, high of 92, low tide at 12:14. And in Fort Myers, it's 84 degrees and sunny, high of 96. High tide is at 7:50 in 20 minutes from now. So on to some Florida news. I think I'm going to try to change the format. I know we're trying to keep it Florida-centric, but I think I'm going to try to expand on some of the stories and give you more information instead of just going through and getting like a lot of these. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Write to me if you want to see any changes to the Mastiff Media Morning Show by writing news, NEWZ, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. This is for you, gang. So we'll do what you want to do. Florida's Attorney General rewrites the property tax amendment for the November ballot. Florida's Attorney General rewrote the ballot for proposed property tax amendment after a judge found the wording misleading. Now, listen to this. You're going to hear both the old and the new. And you tell me what you actually liked and didn't like. Under the judge's order, and keep in mind, I'm not for most of the entire DeSantis regime. This guy has said he's going to do a bunch of things to include stand in my driveway after Hurricane Helene when I and my neighbors lost everything. Told us help was on the way. That was the last that I heard from the Florida state government. Not to sound bitter. Under a judge's order, Florida's Attorney General has rewritten the proposed property tax amendment that will appear on the voters' ballots in November. So that's not on the ballot today. And keep in mind, today is primary day. Earlier this month, Tallahassee Judge David Frank ruled that the ballot language for the property tax proposal passed by the legislature was misleading and that parts were, quote, more akin to a political slogan. Frank ordered Florida Attorney General James Olthmeyer to rewrite several parts of the amendment, including the title, quote, this is the original title. This is the one that the judge didn't like. Title is Save Our Homes from Excessive Property Taxes. That's it. That's the title. That's what the judge did not like. So here's the math. When I bought this house in October of 2021, I was living on a $5,200 a month pension. I was paying my mortgage, which included mortgage insurance, homeowners insurance, and property taxes. I was paying all my bills. And I was putting $500 a month away into a savings account. Maybe I need to point out that while Ron DeSantis was the governor then, and he was only now finally saying that he's going to do something about the insurance crisis throughout Florida, Joe Biden had already been president for about 9 months. Through the next couple of years, I continued to live solely off my pension. Although I didn't save as much money anymore, and I wasn't able to put extra money against the principal as time went by. Having looked at those documents, it was property taxes and insurance that caused my mortgage to increase. So much so that by 2025, and a new president, I took out 2 loans just to pay bills. I don't know if you're aware, but it's not sustainable. The math isn't going to work out for that. So in January of this year, I found full-time employment retail at a Best Buy in Wesley Chapel. You might remember Up the Middle used to play that advertisement for that store that I paid for, saying to come see me in the mobile department. We still have high insurance. It doesn't pay for anything because when I thought I had personal stuff covered inside my house, I found out the hard way I didn't. So when I say that I lost everything, I mean it. And yet this judge is saying that this bill, that this amendment should not say that it's saving our homes from excessive property taxes. Well, then tell me something, Your Honor. What is it doing? Because I will tell you that for what I get from my local county government versus what I've paid over the past 5 years, that is exactly what this amendment is doing. Oh. Some people just need to be tackled, stopped. The new title was shared this past Thursday and is Increased Homestead Exemption, lower cap on increases in non-homestead property assessments. The hell does that mean? If approved by at least 60% of Florida voters, the property tax amendment would raise the homestead exemption from $150,000 for most Florida property owners in 2027 and up to $250,000 in 2028. So here's my question. It says up to. Does that mean we're not automatically that high? And if we're not automatically that high, who decides how high we go? Is it the local government? So they do still have say in what our taxes are. And what if they don't take it to that limit at all? What will our rights be as pissed off homeowners? The rewritten amendment is drier than the prior amendment, you think? Which had included summary subheadings that said things like protecting small businesses and ensuring fairness for Florida residents. I would have liked to see where those subheadings were and read the sections and see exactly what maybe I would have disagreed with this judge on that. The new amendment largely uses language suggested by Judge Frank in his order. That includes a section summarizing the plan to have new Florida residents who move after 2026 wait 5 years before benefiting from the higher homestead exemption. One of the plaintiffs, former St. Petersburg Senator Jeff Brands, said that the plan could be unconstitutional. This article doesn't say how it could be, though. Altmaier's rewrite, mirroring Frank's proposal, would say people who are not Florida residents by December 31st, 2025 will get the higher homestead exemption on their 5th year to the extent permitted by the U.S. Constitution. Altmaier's office also removed the language telling voters that the amendment would lead to full elimination of property taxes. Frank said the actual text of the document did not guarantee that. Instead, the amendment now says the plan would require the legislature to create a procedure for local governments to, quote, increase the homestead exemption up to full assessed value, quote, and will also allow special districts under referendum to do the same. This is the part I don't get. Governor Ron DeSantis' office authored the initial property tax proposal, but lawmakers amended the language to protect school property taxes. DeSantis has said he will not campaign for the amendment. Why? Are you trying to prove that you're useless? I say try to prove that you can do something. He did say he will vote for it. Ooh, one in a row. If the plaintiffs who sued the change, the ballot, have any objection to Altmaier's rewrite, they must file a challenge within 10 days. All right, I got to do some traffic. And we're actually back to Florida news. Yeah. Did I miss ad spots or something? Oh boy. Traffic congestion in Pasco County on the Suncoast Parkway from before mile marker 21 to exit 19 and State Route 54. That's new. Traffic congestion in Hillsborough County on Veterans Expressway South from exit 16 and Lutz Lake Fern Road to exit 14. From Van Dyke Road, State Route 685A. This was last updated at 646. Well, why didn't it show up an hour ago? Additional traffic congestion in Hillsborough on Veterans Expressway South from mile marker 7 to exit 4. Hillsborough Avenue State Route 580. got something on the Panhandle. There's a crash in Okaloosa County on I-10 East at mile marker 54, blocking the right lane. Disabled vehicle in Santa Rosa County on I-10 West at mile marker 23. It's off on the shoulder. Looks like there's a road ranger on scene as well. Don't forget about the heat advisory throughout the entire Panhandle today. All of North Florida, actually. It's over into Jacksonville as well. Lots of congestion in Jacksonville. 95 between the 5 o'clock position and the Beltway, all the way into the downtown. 10 from the 9 o'clock position on the Beltway into the downtown. And, of course, the downtown. Crash in Duval County on I-295 West North. That's up at the 11 o'clock position on the outer loop. The ramp to Dunn Avenue. Last updated only moments ago. Coming down through St. Augustine and Ormond by the Sea and Ormond Beach looks good. Near Cocoa Beach, there's a crash in Brevard County on I-95 North, mile marker 189. It's off on the shoulder. Disabled vehicle in Brevard County on I-95 South, mile marker 171. It's also off on the shoulder. That's actually in the grass. Orlando has congestion. The end. Include the highway system around it, straight into the downtown, onto I-4 at both ends. Allow extra time and take it slow. Coming out of Orlando into Tampa, disabled vehicle in Osceola County on I-4 West before mile marker 63. It's on the shoulder. Congestion resulting from that. Also congestion in Polk County on US 27 North before Davenport Boulevard, County Road 547, and Sanders Road to I-4. Also backed up on I-4. Through Lakeland, once you get through Lakeland, it's stop and go between there, Plant City, and Tampa. Same thing at 4 and 75, as well as 4 and 275. Don't forget on the 22nd, I-275E, crossing Old Tampa Bay, will become a toll road. Some congestion in the downtown area of St. Pete, some on I-275, others on that Grand, what is that one? Fifth Avenue, crossing St. Pete. Lots of stop and go traffic west of 275. Clearwater looks good. Still that congestion in Bradenton, 41 and 64. Sarasota's having some congestion on I-75. The off-ramp is backed up in Sarasota County, 75 North, at exit 207 Bee Ridge Road. South 75 looks good. 75, 41, Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Multi-vehicle crash in Lee County on State Route 884 and Colonial Boulevard West beyond I-75. 2 right lanes are blocked there. Disabled vehicle in Lee County on I-75 North heading into Fort Myers. That's at the exit 131 on the ramp, Daniels Parkway. Lots of congestion in Miami, Hollywood, Pompano Beach, and Boca. Allow extra time there. And moving up the coast from Tampa up 19 to 301. Everything looking okay. That congestion we talked about on 589 in both Hillsborough and Pasco, that's still there. Beyond that, moving further north, things are looking good. Till you get to Crystal River, multi-vehicle crash on US 19 North at Turkey Oak Drive. All lanes are blocked. 19 North at Turkey Oak Drive. 19 is closed. All right, gang, that is traffic. Got some national news. Up next. It's old. Well, the NPR is late today. Still only the 6 o'clock's out. Well, here's the 6 o'clock NPR. We'll get the 7 o'clock when it's available.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Janine Herbst. President Trump's envoy and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, says he's optimistic about his plan for Gaza. He was in Israel yesterday, meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. This after a rare meeting over the weekend with Hamas leaders in Egypt. NPR's Daniel Estrin has more.
He said it's, quote, hard to trust a terrorist organization that committed what he called terrible atrocities, but he said the Hamas officials said all the right things. Then Kushner went to Israel and met Netanyahu. He said the meeting lasted nearly 4 hours. They pored over the details of a new U.S.-backed roadmap for how to move forward in Gaza. Netanyahu initially rejected that roadmap for Israeli withdrawal from Gaza alongside Hamas disarmament. But Kushner said he sat with Netanyahu and his team and talked through what he called misunderstandings and misinformation about the plan.
NPR's Daniel Estrin reporting. Primaries are being held in 3 states today, Alaska, Wyoming, and Florida, where voters will cast ballots for Republican and Democratic nominees for governor, along with Senate and several congressional seats. NPR's Maham Javed has more about the GOP primary in southwestern Florida that's drawn a diverse cast of candidates, most of whom are not from the state.
The Republican primary in Florida's 19th district has 10 candidates, and most of them aren't actually from Florida. Local candidates have accused the transplants of carpetbagging, which is when someone moves to another state for power or influence. Some of these candidates have also run for office from other states, including Michigan, New York, and North Carolina. Last week, President Trump endorsed Catalina Lauf, who has previously run from Illinois. Whoever wins this primary, even with a small percentage of the vote, will likely also win in November. Maham Javed, NPR News.
Luigi Mangioni's state trial that was set to take place in New York City next month has been postponed indefinitely. Samantha Max of member station WNYC reports the future of the state's case is uncertain.
Mangione was scheduled to stand trial next month on state murder and weapons possession charges. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office accused him of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. But then Mangione pleaded guilty to stalking charges in a separate federal case last week. He admitted to following Thompson to New York City and killing him. Now, Mangione's defense team is asking a state judge to throw out the remaining charges. They say it would violate his rights to keep prosecuting the case after he pleaded guilty. The Manhattan DA's office says it will fight that request. For NPR News, I'm Samantha Max in New York.
U.S. futures contracts are trading lower at this hour. You're listening to NPR News from Washington. California Democratic Congressman Jimmy Gomez is being investigated by the House Ethics Committee over allegations of sexual misconduct, including inappropriate sexual contact with a House staffer. The New York Post first reported allegations that Gomez kissed an intern who worked for a colleague. Gomez tells NPR that although his actions were consensual and he says didn't violate House ethic rules or laws, he calls them mistakes and he says he takes full responsibility. Gomez has represented parts of Los Angeles since 2017. Recent college graduates are struggling to land entry-level jobs. Their unemployment rate is now higher than the rate for all workers, according to the New York Fed. Many blame artificial intelligence. Reporter Lee Gaines has more.
Irene Chang graduated from Georgia Tech this past spring with an engineering degree.
I think I've applied to around 450 applications now.
Still, no offers. She thinks AI might be part of the reason. Economists don't all agree. Stanford University researchers found employment declined for younger workers in jobs that AI can more easily automate, like software development. But Harvard University economist David Deming isn't convinced. He points to the rise in remote work since the pandemic. He says employers are less likely to hire entry-level workers for remote positions. Still, he thinks AI will impact jobs at some point.
But it'll take some time and it's going to be very bumpy and messy and buckle up.
For NPR News, I'm Lee Gaines.
And I'm Janine Herbst, NPR News in Washington.
This message comes from Schwab. With the new Schwab Teen Investor Account, teens can gain hands-on investing experience and build positive money habits. It's an account co-owned by you and your teen, so you can monitor and engage with the account while your teen learns how to invest and manage money. Learn more at schwab.com.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. The 60-day deadline for an agreement to end the Iran war and resolve the dispute over its nuclear program expired yesterday. Talks have focused on reopening the Strait of Hormuz and lifting a U.S. blockade on Iran, both of which were supposed to have happened under the interim deal. But there's been no sign of any compromise on the strait, or that detailed nuclear talks have even begun. AP correspondent Julie Walker reports President Trump is calling concerns about conditions on the USS Lincoln fake.
President Trump is downplaying reports about conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln to reporters in the Oval Office. The aircraft carrier has been the subject of escalating concern over mental health and supply issues for American sailors enduring a record-setting, uninterrupted time at sea of more than 240 days. Trump calls the reports fake news.
Over the years, we've had them out there much longer. I was at a group meeting, and an admiral came up to see me over the weekend. And it was at a big group, and he happened to be an admiral retired. He said, I've been on ships that are out there much longer than that, sir. And I know people on the Lincoln, they say it's beautifully maintained and beautifully taken care of. And other people went out and they found out to be true. It was fake news reporting.
The Lincoln arrived in the Middle East in January and has been supporting the U.S. war against Iran, including the blockade on Iranian ports. I'm Julie Walker.
The mother and sister of Lindsay Clancy testified in Massachusetts yesterday. They said Clancy became anxious and paranoid before she strangled her 3 children and tried to kill herself in 2022. The testimony came in the 4th week of Clancy's murder trial. Voters in several states are heading to the polls today. As the primary season nears its end, all eyes are on key states like Florida, Wyoming, California, and Alaska. This is AP News. AP correspondent Ben Thomas reports Hawaii is recovering from Tropical Storm Lala.
Lala never made landfall, but even as it weakened from a hurricane to a tropical storm, it lashed Hawaii with intense rainfall and flash flooding. From Honolulu to the Big Island, where communities in the southern end were cut off from communication and roads blocked by debris. Officials announced 1 fatality, a 90-year-old woman found dead in Naalehu. Hawaiian Electric said more than 100,000 customers were without power as of Monday afternoon after Lala's winds took down trees, utility poles, and transmission towers. I'm Ben Thomas.
Los Angeles Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss is legally contesting her siblings' plan to sell the family's remaining 17.8% stake in the team. Last week, it was announced that the Lakers were being sold for $12.5 billion. I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
Life is busy, but your checking account doesn't have to be. With GTE Carefree Checking, you get a simple, convenient, free checking account. No monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balance required. Switch your direct deposit in seconds and enjoy secure banking that works for you, from an award-winning mobile app to real-time payments with Zelle, plus access to over 30,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. GTE Financial goes beyond money. Learn more at gtefinancial.org/carefree. Federally insured by NCUA.
Ready to start your healthcare career? With 8 start dates each year, Rasmussen University's medical assisting program helps you get there in as few as 12 months. Train with our accredited curriculum, prepare for your certification exam, and gain the experience employers are looking for. Plus, with their Inspire grant, you may be able to complete the program for under $12,100. A new laptop is included in the program as well. Visit rasmussen.edu to find a campus near you and gain the tools employers are looking for.
Big monthly car insurance bills are hard on your budget, but not with Hugo. Hugo breaks up your insurance bill into tiny pieces so you can pay a little bit at a time. Get a quote today and start driving insured with just 7 days of coverage. After that, pay at your own pace, like every week or even a day at a time. Hugo is car insurance that fits your budget, stress-free. Get your car insured today at withhugo.com. That's withhugo.com.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. South Korea's president is stressing the importance of the country's relationship with the U.S. The AP's Karen Shams reports this comes as many remain confused at President Trump's order to cut joint military exercises.
At a cabinet meeting on Tuesday in Seoul, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung said a solid alliance with the United States strengthens the foundation of national security. These comments come as many South Koreans remain baffled and concerned about U.S. President Donald Trump's abrupt order to substantially reduce military exercises with South Korea. Trump made the announcement just before U.S. and South Korean soldiers began their annual exercises on Monday, designed to sharpen readiness against North Korean threats. Trump cited what he said was a good relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korea's refusal to join the war against Iran. I'm Karen Shamas.
A meeting between U.S. negotiator Jared Kushner and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has left the fate of the Gaza ceasefire unclear. Officials signaled moderate optimism after yesterday's talks, but offered no concrete commitment by Israel to the latest U.S. proposed plan. Hamas has already agreed to a proposal. Israel is insisting that Hamas disarm before any reconstruction of Gaza. One death is blamed on Tropical Storm Lala after it caused substantial damage and flooding in Hawaii. Utility company Hawaiian Electric says nearly 104,000 homes and businesses were without electricity yesterday. Primary elections are being held in key states today, including Florida, Wyoming, California, and Alaska. More on this story at apnews.com. This is AP News. A teenage lifeguard who saved a 10-year-old boy from pounding waves off the California coast last month was honored at the White House yesterday.
President Trump met with Ryder Williams after saying the teen deserved a civilian honor.
In those dangerous moments that we have, we always try to fall back on our training. We are trained so well by many to handle that situation as best we can. So I really am just thinking about how to get the boy out of the water as fast as I can. And for shaping my future, I want to be a firefighter in the future, hopefully go through paramedic school. And
he's off to a good start. We'll give him recommendations. We may have some good recommendations. Go ahead.
Dramatic video of the rescue going viral last month, showing Williams clinging to Nathaniel Ray as waves repeatedly crash over them, the pair disappearing from view. A second lifeguard was eventually able to help get them both back to shore. I'm Julie Walker.
And I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
Savings are back in session at Hondo Port Richey.
With deals like zero money down, zero payments for up to 1 year, and 0% APR available for well-qualified buyers. Plus, 1 year complimentary maintenance on all new cars. And get more value for every mile when you drive Honda. Named #1 in fuel efficiency among full-line automakers. During the Honda Summer Event, when you make it Honda Port Richey, we make it happen. Online at HondaPortRichey.com. For complete details, call 727-217-5569.
This is the Cocoa Beach on Florida Space Coast podcast. I'm Kelly Bowman, and I have been chasing the stories, meeting the people, and uncovering the little details that help you explore this place like a local. And the more time you spend here, you realize it's not just a beach. The shoreline is a launch pad for catching waves and watching rockets lift into space. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Cocoa Beach on Florida Space Coast, and listen now.
Life is busy, but your checking account doesn't have to be. With GTE Carefree Checking, you get a simple, convenient free checking account. No monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balance required. Switch your direct deposit in seconds and enjoy secure banking that works for you, from an award-winning mobile app to real-time payments with Zelle. Plus, access to over 30,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. GTE Financial goes beyond money. Learn more at gtefinancial.org/carefree. Federally insured by NCUA.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. After Iran said it was working to finalize a joint statement with Oman on a plan to manage shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump made a threat that he would bomb Oman if it got in the way of a deal. The AP's Luke Garrett has more.
Details have previously emerged that Oman and Iran would reopen the strait with ships entering through a route close to Iran and exiting through a route close to Oman without paying fees or tolls during an interim period. Speaking to a Fox News reporter, Trump threatened Oman not to get in the way of any potential deal, allegedly using an expletive for emphasis, though Fox News did not provide audio of the interview.
The 60-day negotiating period to find a peace deal between Washington and Tehran expired yesterday. According to Fox News, Trump claimed that deadline was irrelevant. The fate of the Gaza ceasefire is unclear after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with U.S. negotiator Jared Kushner yesterday. Officials signaled moderate optimism, but offered no concrete commitment by Israel to the latest U.S. proposed plan, which Hamas has already agreed to. Israel is insisting that Hamas disarm before any reconstruction of Gaza. Voters in Florida will cast ballots today for Republican and Democratic nominees for governor, U.S. Senate, and several congressional races. Trump-backed Byron Donalds is running to become the state's first black governor. The leading gubernatorial candidate for Democrats is David Jolly, a former Republican congressman who switched parties last year. Primary elections will also be held in Wyoming, California, and Alaska. Asian shares were mostly lower as rising oil prices and inflation concerns offset the boost from strong corporate earnings. This is AP News. Actor Hayden Panettiere has died at age 36. The AP's Ben Thomas has more.
Her prolific career began as a child in commercials and soap operas, and as a teen, her role as a superpowered cheerleader in Heroes propelled her to fame, telling AP in 2009,
"It's such a big part of my life, and it's like home. But it definitely is emotionally taxing and physically taxing sometimes, but it's all worth it at the end."
She later starred in the TV series Nashville, taking on the role of a brash upstart country singer, Juliet Barnes.
Being in this industry, it's preparation for this character. There's a lot of things that are very similar.
In real life, she had a daughter with Ukrainian boxer Vladimir Klitschko in 2014 and acknowledged postpartum depression and alcohol addiction. Police in Greenville, South Carolina say a cause of death has yet to be determined. I'm Ben Thomas.
And I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
Savings are back in session at Honda Port Richey. With deals like zero money down, zero payments for up to 1 year, and 0% APR available for well-qualified buyers. Plus, 1 year complimentary maintenance on all new cars. And get more value for every mile when you drive Honda. Named #1 in fuel efficiency among full-line automakers. During the Honda Summer Event, when you make it Honda Port Richey, we make it happen. Online at HondaPortRichey.com. For complete details, call 727-217-5569.
My name is Dr. Corey Howe, also known as Shred Doctor. Cocoa Beach being the origination of the word stoke, 100% believe that. We have some of the most world champion surfers originating here. We have so many outdoor water sports activities. We have space shuttles launching off into the atmosphere. Sun's always shining, people are nice and happy. This is where everyone comes to vacation and live. I mean, what else is there not to be stoked about?
Cocoa Beach, the birthplace of stoke. Feel it for yourself at legendarycocobeach.com.
Ready to earn your degree while balancing your busy schedule? Rasmussen University has a seat saved for you with their 50-plus fully online degree programs that you can complete from anywhere. Whether you learn from home, work, or your daily commute, your career-focused curriculum will help prepare you for roles in high-demand fields. Plus, financial aid options for those who qualify and personalized support helps you stay on track. Learn more by visiting rasmussen.edu.
All right, dude. Let's do some traffic. Say, dude. Coffee's not cut in yet. Time for traffic. There's some new disabled vehicles. 2 of them on I-75 just northwest of Ocala. One at 75 South, mile marker 355. It's on the shoulder. The other on 75 and North at the ramp to exit 354 and 27. The left turn lane is blocked. That is on the ramp, not the highway itself. What else here? Into the Panhandle, disabled vehicle in Santa Rosa County on I-10 West at exit 26. It's on the shoulder. Another one in Washington County on I-10 East at mile marker 123. It's also on the shoulder. Don't forget the heat advisories. Lots of congestion in Jacksonville. Allow extra time for Jacksonville. There's congestion all over the place on the Beltway from the 4 to 6 o'clock positions down in the southeast, on 95 from the 5 o'clock position all the way into the downtown, and west of the downtown on 10 coming into the city. Allow lots of extra time if you're heading into or through any of those areas. Same would go for Orlando, particularly in the north. You got a multi-vehicle crash on I-4 West at mile marker 89. That's mostly off on the left shoulder, but remember, there are multiple vehicles there. Congestion in Orange County on I-4 East before mile marker 79 and State Route 423. That's also moving into the city. Another crash in Seminole County on State Route 414 East at Magnolia Homes Road. That's on the left shoulder. There's a disabled vehicle in Orange County on Route 429 South before mile marker 16. That's on the shoulder. Lots of disabled vehicles. Stay alert, gang. Disabled vehicle in Brevard County on I-95 South before mile marker 209. That's on the shoulder. Another one down in Brevard County on I-95 South at mile marker 171. Also on the shoulder. Road rangers are there with that one. Let's see. This one. Crash in St. Lucie County on Florida Turnpike South before mile marker 140 to exit 138 Becker Road. Right lane and right shoulder blocked. West Palm doesn't look too bad. Some Some congestion in Bellagio. More throughout Pompano Beach and Fort Lauderdale. Lots through Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood into Miami. Usual congestion spots there in the downtown areas. Crossing the state, everything looks good. Getting across the Everglades, looks like you're going to live. Coming up in the Fort Myers itself congested on 75 and 82. A heavy congestion through the downtown area there. Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte looks pretty good. Coming up into Sarasota, traffic congestion on I-75 South beyond exit 213, University Parkway to before mile marker 209. 2 spots there. Then again on I-75 South before exit 213, University Parkway to before mile marker 209. So the two, they're right back to back. Another one with Bradenton on 64 and 41 and 75. Special event on US 301 in both directions at the amphitheater. Jack Johnson is in for that. That's on tomorrow on the 19th. Multi-vehicle crash in Hillsborough County on State Route 60 for Rocky Point Drive. The center lane is blocked with that. That's a new one on Route 60 in Hillsborough County at Rocky Point Drive. Same congestion on 589 through Hillsborough and Pasco counties. Otherwise, 1941 Land O'Lakes Boulevard, 75 and 301 all look good. The crash in Citrus County on US 19 is still going. That's at Turkey Oak Drive. All lanes are blocked. That can't be good. And that, by the way, is 19 northbound, heading out of Crystal River and moving north on 19. Get over to 41 and continue to get around that. Work from home, gang. Work from home. It's 8:17. Get into some Florida news. Classes start at Tallahassee State College. FAMU and FSU are next week. College life is ramping back up. Tallahassee State College begins fall classes. FSU and FAMU students are next week. Enrollment for TSC has climbed to 13,000 with new degree programs and the high-tech innovation hub, giving local students more options and hands-on learning opportunities. This one, here we go. In case you're stupid too, do not bring a live grenade to a police department. A well-meaning citizen brought a live hand grenade to a Lakeland police department on Sunday after finding the device while cleaning out a family member's belongings. The resident brought the device in a box to the police station, in a box, like, here, open this and see what happens. Brought it in a box to the police station on Massachusetts Avenue, believing it was, quote, an old hand grenade. I mean, it looks like an old hand grenade. And it was in my grandfather's military chest. Probably was an old hand grenade. I'll pick it up and see what happens. The incident prompted the temporary closure of the police department and road detours. while the Tampa Police Department bomb squad investigated and safely removed the grenade. Bomb squad determined the item was live, possibly dating to the Korean War. Police said the resident had good intentions, just a Florida education. While bringing the item to the station, warned the public not to handle such a device or transport suspicious devices. Like I said, just in case you don't have the common sense that the rest of us do. If anyone finds a suspicious device, call the police immediately rather than handle it. The police desk watch said, contact your local law enforcement agency and let them come to you to assess the situation. Oh. In Fort Myers, a 10-year-old was hospitalized for a suspected fentanyl overdose after deputies found the child unresponsive and not breathing at a Fort Myers hotel on August 12th. Investigators later found fentanyl and drug paraphernalia in the room within arm's reach of the child. 2 people were arrested. Deputies responded to the Quality Suites in Fort Myers for what initially was reported as a medical emergency. When they arrived, they found the 10-year-old unconscious, not breathing, with a faint pulse. Deputies administered Narcan, medication used to reverse opioid overdoses. The child was taken to a hospital for treatment. The victim was believed to be suffering from a drug overdose, that according to the Sheriff's Department. Robert Dillard and Tessiana Squires were detained while deputies investigated the incident. The agency's Special Victims Unit and Narcotics Unit conducted a joint investigation because of the nature of the incident. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the hotel room and found drug paraphernalia in clean bags containing fentanyl throughout the room and inside Squires' purse. They also found trafficking amounts of fentanyl behind the refrigerator in the room. Drugs and other items found in the room were accessible to children. Detectives ultimately determined there was probable cause to arrest both Dillard and Squires on charges of child neglect and trafficking fentanyl. Possessing these drugs is one thing, but leaving them within arm's reach of a child is a whole new level of negligence. Yeah. Wow. And you wonder why I pick on Floridians, native Floridians. I guess that's one thing Byron Donalds has for him. He's actually not from here. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office operation targeting human traffickers, child predators, and others accused of preying on vulnerable people resulted in 116 arrests and the recovery of 5 human trafficking victims. The operation, dubbed Operation Relentless Summer, ran from June 6th to August 5th and involved the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Human Trafficking Section, Internet Predator Squad, and Sexual Predator Unit. Investigators used a variety of tactics during the nearly 2-month operation, including residential search warrants, investigations involving dark web activity, undercover online chats, hotel and motel operations, investigations into people traveling to meet minors, and checks of registered sex offenders. Among those arrested was Frank Amikumo, 35, who authorities accused of trafficking women and girls across Texas, Louisiana, and Florida for about 4 years. Detectives identified 5 alleged victims in that case, 3 adult women, 2 juvenile girls. Investigators believe there could be additional victims who have not yet come forward. Amikumo is being held at Orient Road Jail without bond. Human trafficking is a crime that thrives in the shadows, and operations like this one shine a light on it. That according to Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister. This work is not merely a job, it's a mission to protect and preserve the very fabric of our community. Every arrest made during Operation Relentless Summer represents a predator who is no longer a threat to the families of Hillsborough County. Florida Attorney General James Othmeyer also credited HCSO and the Office of Statewide Prosecution with the arrests and recovery of the 5 victims. These human traffickers and child predators prey on the most vulnerable in our communities, exploiting women and children for their own gains. Selena Freedom, One More Child provided. Yes, Celia Freedom and One More Child provided services to victims during the operation. The Sheriff's Office said its human trafficking section has made 1,343 arrests since it was established in 2021. The Internet Predator Unit, established in 2024, has made 368 arrests, while the Sexual Predator Unit, also established in 2024, has made 236 arrests. Anyone who believes they have information related to the cases or who believes they may have been victimized is asked to contact the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Detectives at 813-247-8200. Hillsborough County Detectives at 813-247-8200. All right, got to take a break. When we come back, weather and tides for one more time. This is the Mastiff Media Morning Show. I'm Yergs. We'll be back after these words.
Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching, Chapter 1, written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors in conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and mastiff.media. Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative or progressive talk, 24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community, or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym. But not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching. Dunk tanks. Sauna. Everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness.
All right. 8:29. Time for some weather. Gotta find it here. Give me a minute. Okay. Pensacola, it's going to be 80, or it's 85 right now. It's cloudy. It'll be 94. Low tide is at 2:31 this afternoon. For Panama City, it's 86 degrees. High is going to be 92. Low tide at 1:31 this afternoon. For Cedar Key, it's 86 degrees and cloudy. High of 89. Low tide will be at 12:44. For Hernando Beach, it's 87 degrees and sunny. High of 90. Low tide will be at 1:42. For Hudson Beach, it's 90 degrees already. Woohoo! And sunny. 91 is going to be the high. Low tide will be at 11:42 this morning. Newport Richey, it's 85 degrees, partly cloudy. High of 89. I'm moving down there. High of 89, low tide at 12:42. For Clearwater Beach, it's 87 degrees, cloudy, high of 90. Low tide will be at 10:28 this morning. For Safety Harbor in Old Tampa Bay, it's 85 degrees, cloudy, high of 91. Low tide will be at 2:54 this afternoon. For Port Manatee, it's 88 degrees, high of 93 and cloudy. Low tide at 12:25. Low tide at 12:25 this afternoon. For Sarasota, it's 83 degrees and cloudy, high of 92. Low tide at 12:14. For Fort Myers, 87 degrees and sunny, high of 96. 96. Wow. Low tide at 3:35. Florida news time. Florida State Attorney General has rewritten property tax amendment for November's ballot. We're at the ballot for a proposed property tax amendment after a judge found the wording misleading. After the judge found the wording misleading. Now I'm going to give you both titles, the old one and the new one. You tell me which one is misleading. Under a judge's order, Florida's Attorney General has rewritten the property tax amendment that will appear on the voters' ballots in November. Earlier this month, Tallahassee Judge David Frank ruled that the ballot language for the property tax proposal passed by the legislature was misleading and that parts were more akin to a political slogan. Frank ordered Florida Attorney General James Altemeyer to rewrite several parts of the amendment, including the title, Save Our Homes from Excessive Property Taxes. I screwed it up, so I'll say it again. The original title was Save Our Homes from Excessive Property Taxes. I don't know. Remember me telling my story in the past hour? Altemeyer's office shared the revised language. The new title for the amendment is Increased Homestead Exemption, Lower Cap on Increases in Non-Homestead Property Assessments. Because that makes it clear. If approved by at least 60% of the Florida's voters for the supermajority needed, the property tax amendment would raise the homestead exemption to $150,000 for most Florida property owners in 2027, up to $250,000 in 2028. The exemption would also increase with inflation, which means it's going to go up. Plaintiffs filed a lawsuit in June asking for the amendment's summary on the ballot to be rewritten. State law and courts' previous rulings have required constitutional amendments to use neutral, clear language. The group and former lawmakers challenging the amendment's wording did not ask for the judge to strike the proposal from the ballot. The rewritten amendment is drier than the prior amendment, which had included summary subheadings that said things like, quote, protecting small businesses and ensuring fairness for Florida residents, quote. The new amendment largely uses language suggested by Judge Frank in his order. That includes a section summarizing the plan to have new Florida residents who move after 2026 to wait 5 years before benefiting from the higher homestead exemption. One of the plaintiffs, former St. Petersburg Senator Jeff Brands, has said that his plan could be unconstitutional, but apparently didn't say how. Altmaier's rewrite, mirroring Frank's proposal, would say people who are not Florida residents by December 31st to 2025, that's of last year, so that would suck, would get higher homestead exemption on their 5th year to the extent of permitted by the U.S. Constitution. Altmaier's office also removed the language telling voters that the amendment would lead to full elimination of property taxes. Frank said the actual text of the amendment did not guarantee that. Instead, the amendment now says the plan would require the legislature to create a procedure for local governments to increase the homestead exemption up to full assessed value and to allow special districts under the referendum to do the same. Governor Ron DeSantis, who is the author of the initial property tax proposal, but after lawmakers amended the language to protect school property taxes, DeSantis said he will not campaign for the amendment, but said he'll vote for it. Plaintiffs who sued to change the ballot, if they have any objection, they must file a challenge within 10 days. Tomorrow would be day 7. Well, got to take a break. When we come back, we'll do traffic one more time, some more Florida news, and we'll wrap up with national news and some features after this. This is the Mastiff Media Morning Show on the Mastiff Media Network, welcoming WZQR in Pine Island and Chatter on your Android or Apple device. We'll be back after this. Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching, Chapter 1 written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors, in conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and mastiff.media. Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative or progressive talk, 24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community,
or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym. But not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. All right. Traffic one last time. See if there's anything new. Congestion in Escambia County on I-10 east from mile marker 6 to 10. That's brand new. That's on 10 east out by Pensacola. Rest of the Panhandle looks pretty good. Jacksonville sucks. Allow extra time in there. And Orlando. Orlando isn't quite as bad, but it's definitely there. Let's see about 19. Where was that? That's 19 might be open back up. Closure on 19 looks like it's open back up. That was by Crystal River. It looks that the map is showing that there's some delay. However, it's not showing that it's closed anymore, so that could be good. Otherwise, if you are seeing a delay through Crystal River area, get over to 401 or 41. Land O'Lakes Boulevard, you have 41 and take that around. Yeah, that seems to have been cleared up from before. Orlando is sucking. Congestion, disabled vehicles, accidents, allow extra time, stay alert. Stay alert. Wake up and stay alert. Pull over and go get a coffee. Do what you got to do. 4, oh my God. 4 is backed up at 27 and a crash in Osceola County on 4 East before mile marker 59. Fortunately, that is off in the shoulder. That's a new one, though. Disabled vehicle on I-4 East at mile marker 69. Also on the shoulder. Another disabled vehicle on I-4 East at mile marker 70. That's within a mile of each other. And traffic congestion before all of that on I-4 East, beginning before mile marker 66 to mile marker 68. Remember, at 69 and 70 are disabled vehicles. So just because it speeds up, don't be stupid. Other delays along 4 all the way into Polk City. Coming out of Polk City, Gibsonia, through Plant City, and all the way into Tampa Bay, or to Tampa and Tampa Bay. 75, same coming off of 4 and heading north. 275, same delays there.
75 at Big Bend coming up into the city from the south. Let's see. Yep, don't forget the toll roads begin on 275 crossing the bay. I-275 with a toll road starting on the 22nd. Multi-vehicle crash in Hillsborough County on State Route 60 East before Rocky Point Drive. That's getting onto the bridge. No extra time or take one of the others. Lots of traffic in and around Tampa International. Clearwater looks good. St. Pete looks good. It seems to have cleared up. Still some congestion on 275 on each side of Fifth Avenue. Bridge looks good. Things seem to have cleared up a little bit in Boca, in Bradenton. Still some congestion along 64. Nothing near as serious as what it was earlier. Disabled vehicle in Manatee County on 41 North. For Manatee Avenue and State Route 64. Left turn lane still blocked. 75 backed up through Fruitville. Sarasota County 75 South beyond exit 213. University Parkway 2 before mile marker 209. Good 4 miles there. Slowing again the other direction. Northbound I-75, the ramp to exit 207 to Bee Ridge Road. All right, gang, we got to get into some of the Florida news. Wrap up for today. Don't forget the classes start for Tallahassee State College this week. FAMU and FSU students are next week. College life is ramping back up. Tallahassee State College, as the students return to start the next semester, enrollment at TSC has climbed to 13,000. That's for new degree programs and high-tech innovation hub, giving local students more options and hands-on opportunities. Fast food restaurant backed by Super Bowl champion Drew Brees has opened in Lutz, bringing its signature cheeseburgers, waffle fries, and shakes to the area. Small Sliders. Let's say it again. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing my diet. Opened its newest location at 19081. Tell me how you say that. So I live at a 5-digit. I say the first 2 as a teen, and then the next 3 as 100, like 123. How do you say it when it's a 0? You can't say 1981. They'll think it's a 4-digit address. Anyway, the 19,000 block of Wing Shooter Way, next to the Swig, you'll find it. They opened on August 11th and hosted a grand opening this past Saturday. According to the company's CEO, which is called Purple Buns, company CEO Vic Patel said that we're expecting to continue growing the Small Sliders brand in Tampa Bay with the opening of our Lutz Can. I still don't know what a can is. Committed to 9 stores, 9 more restaurants throughout Florida. All right. Take a break. When we come back, Cocoa Beach Podcast will wrap up the day. This is the Mastiff Media Morning Show on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after this.
Have you been around Boyertown lately? I mean, in like the past 20 years. At least that long ago, Jane and Paul Stahl and some of Jane's students began selling sponsorships to various Boyertown businesses. Each one purchased a bear statue, and then each was designed and painted by the sponsor and a local artist. That was some 20 years ago. Now, they are not only all over Boyertown, but all over the country. And you can track them down and hunt them, like amazing pieces of art should be. Buy the newly released book, Bear Fever, It's Catching. Chapter 1 written and edited by Diane O'Sullivan. Use the link at mastiff.media by going to www.mastiff.media/sponsors and find the Bear Fever link. That's www.mastiff.media/sponsors in conjunction with Studio B Art Gallery, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and mastiff.media. Do you have a podcast, or maybe a live stream, or even an actual radio show? How about considering expanding your audience? Go to www.mastiff.media today and check out mastiff.media and what we offer in talk radio. Sign up at www.mastiff.media/join. That's Mastiff, like the dog, .media. If your show's about positive talk, conservative or progressive talk, 24/7 news, sports, the LGBT community, or pretty much anything, we're interested. Again, that's www.mastiff.media/join. Run with the big dogs. Go to www.mastiff.media. Mastiff.media. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness and Wellness. All right, gang, just want to remind you that there are 2 new members to the Mastiff Media Network. One is WZQR in Pine Island, Florida. You can find that by going to WZQR.FM, scrolling down to WZQR Talks. We are on one of their 7 stations. It's the Talk Station, and we are their morning show. You can also find Up the Middle their Sunday evenings live when we do it, and I think they might also put it in replay as well. Check them out by going to WZQR.FM. Also on Chatter every day. We're every day on ZQR now too, but on Chatter every day, Monday through Friday, for the Mastiff Media Morning Show, as well as Sunday evenings for Up the Middle. Go to mastiff.media, go to our website. Right there on the homepage is the link to check out Chatter. Download the free Android or Apple application for your phone or other mobile device, or check out getting Chatter Pro and Chatter Studio for paid membership. Get in on the chatter with Chatter Social. Go to mastiff.media, click on Chatter to learn more. All right, we're going to wrap up today with the Cocoa Beach podcast. They got the best places to eat before your Port Canaveral cruise. I'll see you again tomorrow, 6 a.m. for the Mastiff Media Morning Show. Have a good day.
For many travelers, a cruise vacation begins the moment they step aboard the ship. But after spending time here on Florida's Space Coast, I've come to realize the vacation can start much earlier than that. Every week, thousands of passengers make their way to Port Canaveral, the busiest cruise port in the world. Some arrive the morning of their sailing, while others spend a night or two exploring Cocoa Beach before setting sail. And if you find yourself with a few extra hours before you embark, here's a little advice. Don't rush to the terminal. Those hours are an opportunity to experience the flavors, the people, and the laid-back atmosphere that make Florida Space Coast so much more than just a place to catch a cruise. Whether you're craving fresh seafood straight from the working waterfront, authentic Italian cuisine, or a meal with an ocean view, you'll find plenty of memorable places just minutes from the port. I'm Kelly Bowman, and this is the podcast Cocoa Beach on Florida Space Coast. Today, I'm sharing 4 local restaurants that each offer something a little different and just might become the first great memory of your vacation. So if you've ever been on a cruise, you know the feeling. The bags are packed, the boarding pass is ready, there's a sense of excitement in the air because in just a few hours, you'll be setting sail. On Florida Space Coast, that same excitement often fills the air before a rocket launch. Families, photographers, and space enthusiasts gather, all waiting for the countdown to begin. At Zorella's Italian and wood-fired pizza, those two worlds often come together. Located just minutes from Port Canaveral, the locally owned restaurant has become a favorite gathering place for both cruise passengers and rocket launch spectators. It's casual, welcoming, and exactly the kind of place where you can settle in, enjoy a great meal, and let your vacation begin.
This has, inevitably this has turned into our local space hipster, right? Type place to go for post and pre-rocket launches. We've had a number of astronauts here and different people that are, in the aerospace industry, photographers, journalists, reporters. So they tend to love it here and they can trade war stories or
very cool.
Stuff like that.
While the rocket launches may bring first-time visitors through the door, it's the food that keeps people coming back. Nearly everything is prepared fresh, with an emphasis on quality over convenience, a philosophy that's become part of the restaurant's identity.
And that's kind of just the way we've always wanted people to enjoy the food, right? We want it to be as hot and fresh right out of the pan to your plate, to your mouth, right? And that's usually, in our opinion, the best way to enjoy it.
That attention to detail carries through the entire menu. Of course, you'll find handcrafted pizzas baked in a wood-fired oven, but Zorella's offers much more than pizza. Fresh pasta, seafood, steaks, sandwiches, and classic Italian favorites make it an easy choice whether you're traveling as a couple or with the entire family. And that's exactly what owner Mike Zorella set out to create.
You can sit down and your parents or mom and dad can enjoy a bottle of wine or an espresso martini. The kids can have a pizza or butter noodles, and the parents can have steaks and salmon and lobster. Sometimes that's what we have on our specials. So it's more than just a pizza restaurant or a fancy Italian restaurant. We kind of like to let our hair down a little bit.
There's another reason Zorella's feels like such a natural stop before a cruise. No one there is in a hurry. People linger over lunch, share stories from their travels, and soak in the anticipation of what's ahead, whether they're waiting for a rocket to light up the sky or counting down the hours until their ship leaves port. Everyone seems to have the same thing in common. They're ready for an adventure.
It's not a stuffy Frank Sinatra, low, dim candlelight type atmosphere. This is kind of like you're on vacation mode, right? You're about to get on a cruise ship or you're about to watch a rocket launch, and people tend to like that.
And that's what really makes Zorella special. It's more than just a place to grab a meal before boarding your ship. It captures the excitement of what's to come, the conversations, the laughter, and the sense that something memorable is just over the horizon. From here, our next stop takes us even closer to the water, where the sound of the waves is as much a part of the experience as what's on the menu. For some people, vacation doesn't officially begin until they see the ocean. Maybe it's the sound of the waves, salty breeze, or simply sitting back with a cold drink in hand. Whatever it is, there's something about being by the water that instantly tells your mind it's time to relax. At Coconuts on the Beach, that's exactly the feeling you'll find. As one of the only true oceanfront restaurants in Cocoa Beach, Coconuts on the Beach has been welcoming visitors for decades. It's the kind of place where lunch has a way of turning into an afternoon, and no one seems to mind.
Oh, I mean, first and foremost, it's a private family-owned business, and the roots of this place are well set. It's been an amazing place to come long before I even knew about it. It's a privilege to be able to be a part of it. The ocean view kind of sells itself. You can't really beat that.
He's right. There's something timeless about watching the waves roll onto the beach while enjoying a leisurely meal. You can watch the waves from the restaurant's large, shaded deck area with unobstructed views of the ocean. It has 2 outdoor bars and a large inside dining room if you want to escape the rain or need a break from the Florida sunshine. Whether you're visiting for the first time or making your annual cruise out of Port Canaveral, it's easy to see why so many people make coconuts part of the tradition. And while the view may draw you in, the menu gives you plenty of reasons to stay. Fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, tropical cocktails, there's something here for just about every appetite.
Our seafood is second to none. The staff and what they do back there and the hard work they put into it, it shows at every table.
Yeah.
They really take pride in what they do back there, and they put out a really quality product.
Yeah. Of course, no beachside meal feels complete without something cold to drink. Whether you're celebrating the start of your vacation or simply soaking up one last afternoon before boarding your ship, Coconuts has become known for its tropical cocktails almost as much as it is for its location.
With our drinks, we have a wide variety of drinks. We have a full bar. We can really do anything. Some of our main drinks are the pina colada, the rum runner, and then, of course, our pain in the ass.
What's the pain in the ass?
It's a mix between a rum runner and a pina colada. So it's a little bit of heaven.
And if you find yourself lingering a little longer, you're in good company. Throughout the week, local musicians take the stage, adding live music to the soundtrack of crashing waves and ocean breezes. It's the kind of atmosphere that reminds you there's no reason to rush. Vacation has already begun.
We have live music, usually Thursday through Sunday, sometimes more often than that. We support a lot of local music.
One of the things I've enjoyed most while exploring Florida's Space Coast is discovering that every restaurant has its own personality. At Coconuts, it's all about slowing down, enjoying that beautiful view, and embracing the laid-back beach lifestyle that makes Cocoa Beach so inviting. But our next stop offers something entirely different. Just a few miles away, along the working waterfront at Port Canaveral, you'll find a place where the day's catch isn't just a menu item. It's part of the story. Just beyond the cruise terminals, Port Canaveral reveals another side of its personality. While thousands of passengers are boarding ships for tropical destinations, commercial fishing boats are returning from the Atlantic with the day's catch. It's a reminder that long before this became the busiest cruise port in the world, it was, and still is, a working harbor. And if you want to experience that side of Port Canaveral, Seafood Atlantic is the place to do it. Situated right along the waterfront, the restaurant and seafood market offers front row views of the marina, where fishing boats, charter vessels, and cruise ships all share the same waterway. It's a uniquely Space Coast experience, blending tourism with the area's rich maritime heritage. As you walk through the market, you'll find display cases filled with fresh local seafood, much of it just arriving hours before it's served.
Oh, well, everyone's into the American red snapper right now. We don't always get a commercial season, so we have the best, most beautiful fish you could imagine really in here. Beautiful. You could fry it. You could make. You could try out our American red snapper tacos.
Okay.
Yeah, or on a sandwich as a dinner. We've got all the things, all the ways to eat the American red snapper.
It doesn't get much fresher than that. Whether it's American red snapper prepared as tacos, piled high on a sandwich, or served as the centerpiece of a seafood dinner, the menu changes with the day's catch. It's the kind of place where what's fresh today shapes what's on your plate. Seafood Atlantic isn't just a restaurant. It's a front row seat to the daily rhythm of Port Canaveral. Fishing boats unload their catch just steps away, locals stop in to pick up fresh seafood for dinner, and visitors get a glimpse of the working waterfront that has helped shape this community for generations. And if choosing just one seafood favorite feels impossible, Seafood Atlantic has a solution for that too.
Oh yeah, we do the feast for 4 or the feast for 2, and the feast for 2 has clams, mussels, shrimp, snow crab. It's just a little bit of everything you could want.
Whether you're traveling with family or sharing one last meal before you board your cruise, it's hard to argue with a platter that lets everyone sample a little bit of everything. One of the things I love about Seafood Atlantic is that it invites you to slow down and appreciate where your meal comes from. You can watch boats coming in and going from the harbor, see fishermen unloading their catch, and enjoy lunch just steps away from the water where much of it was harvested. It's an experience that's difficult to recreate anywhere else. And while the seafood is certainly the star of the menu, it's really the setting that makes this place memorable. There's an authenticity here that reflects the history of Port Canaveral itself. It's unpretentious, welcoming, and deeply connected to the people who make their living on these waterways every day. For cruise passengers, it's also one last opportunity to truly enjoy a taste of Florida before setting sail. Because once your ship leaves harbor, the coastline begins to disappear in the distance. But before that happens, there's time for one last stop. Our final restaurant takes us from the working waterfront back into Cocoa Beach, where an authentic taste of Naples, Italy has found a home just miles from the Atlantic Ocean. In fact, one of the things I've enjoyed most while exploring Cocoa Beach is discovering how truly diverse the local food scene has become. Just a few minutes from the beach, you'll find Mangian Bevi Pizzeria Napolitana, a restaurant dedicated to bringing the authentic flavors of Naples, Italy to the Florida Space Coast. Owner Luigi Sebastiano opened the restaurant with a simple mission: to share the kind of pizza he grew up with, using traditional techniques and quality ingredients.
So this is a long story because my partner is Italian-American. He has some property here. So when I moved from New York to Miami, Luigi, we have a mission to bring some really Italian Napolitan, my family grew up, to make something really here in Cocoa Beach. And we start like 8 years ago.
Wow.
And this month, September, we celebrated 8 years.
Step inside, and it's easy to see that commitment. The pizzas are crafted in the traditional Naples way. The pasta is made fresh, and many of the cheeses and specialty ingredients are imported directly from Italy. It's the kind of place where every dish reflects generations of culinary tradition, proving that great food can be found in unexpected places.
Okay, we have not only pizza, we have a meatball appetizer, the recipe of my grandmother. We have some pasta, we make some homemade pasta fresh. Also, we have the sandwich, it's very good for the lunch time. We serve it with different cheese, different salumi from Italy. Also, we do some special meat and fish sometimes, but we very focus in product pizza and pasta.
Yeah.
Sandwich, we have a couple salad because we import the cheese from Italy.
If you've never experienced authentic Neapolitan pizza, there's a story behind its most iconic creation.
If you go in Napoli, this is the most famous pizza that we have, because this is how pizza born as we know it right now. And the story behind this pizza is because the Margherita was the name of the queen that we used to have. And this chef, in order to make something in her honor, made this pizza with the three colors of the Italian flag, that is red, the tomato sauce, white, the mozzarella, and green, that is the basil.
It's details like those that make Mangian Bevi more than just another pizza restaurant. It's a place where every meal comes with a story, and where a simple lunch before your cruise can become an unexpected highlight of your trip. One of the things I've learned while exploring Florida Space Coast is that some of the best discoveries happen when you slow down. This region is known around the world for rocket launches, beautiful beaches, and unforgettable cruise vacations. But between the launch pads and the cruise terminals is a community filled with passionate chefs, family-owned restaurants, and local flavors that are well worth discovering. So the next time you're sailing out of Port Canaveral, give yourself just a little extra time. Start your day with handmade Italian cuisine at Zarella's. Relax by the ocean with fresh seafood and tropical drinks at Coconuts on the Beach. Experience the working waterfront at Seafood Atlantic, or enjoy an authentic taste of Naples at Mangian Bevi. Because your vacation doesn't have to begin when you step aboard your ship. It can begin the moment you pull up a chair, order a great meal, and experience everything Florida Space Coast has to offer. I'm Kelly Bowman, and this is the podcast Cocoa Beach on Florida Space Coast. I'll see you along the shoreline. To keep exploring Cocoa Beach beyond this episode, check out www.visitspacecoast.com/Cocoa Beach for more guides and inspiration. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss what's ahead, because there's so much more to discover. Until next time, I'm Kelly Bowman. I'll see you along the shoreline.